Hopefully everybody can see me here. Working on this. Been fighting through this and working really hard on this stuff. Here's my Jeep. Let's see what time it is. 6:58. Got 2 minutes to go. Got one person in here already. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm going to be all by myself on this. Alright, what am I doing here? Gotta get the front end off of this. Jessica should be out shortly. It has been quite a day. Get that going. That needs to be fixed. All right, folks, welcome to Operation Phoenix. That's the damage done to my Jeep. All right, this is basically what we're looking at right here. The whole back end is crushed in. Jessica's Jeep slid under mine right here. If you look, you can see how this is curved, and it gets really crazy when you look at the floor. Get out of everybody's way. That should be smooth. It's completely buckled. It's torn. Ripped out. It is a complete and utter totaled mess. Absolutely destroyed. So what happened? Long story. We were doing Route 53 in the Oregon Outdoor Adventure Route, the missing link, last summer when we went to Montana. We skipped section 5.3 because we ran out of time. So we wanted to fill in those blanks. Friday night we camped out outside of Seneca, Oregon. And Saturday morning we took off down Forest Service roads towards Unity. It was a long, miserable day of jeeping, having fun, wheeling, getting this guy through everything, chainsawing stuff. We made it through. That night we camped out in the hills above Unity, a mile or two from 26. Well, come here. Hi, sweetie girl. And this little guy right here decided to run off in a thunderstorm. This is Willow. Hi. How you doing? So, 4:30 at night, and big, huge thunderstorm. Lightning, thunder, the whole works. It was absolutely bonkers and crazy, and Willow takes off running, off into the woods. 5 days we searched for her. We drove the Jeeps up hills, down hills, cut open trails. I hiked, I walked, we talked to ranchers, social media, we talked to campers, and finally, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, we found her. Tuesday, some campers had spotted her. Wednesday morning, 7 a.m., we found her. It was a miraculous thing. 5 days, 4 days, 5 days out in the woods all by herself, and there she was. We were ecstatic. We were supposed to be in Idaho. We were supposed to be in Idaho to scatter my sister-in-law's ashes. And so there we were Wednesday morning, 2 days late. And, well, we decided we were going to head to Idaho. That's the best thing to do. So we got on Highway 26 in Unity, aired up the tires, took off down the freeway. And about 45 minutes down the road, approaching Vail, Oregon, almost to Ontario, a lady was standing out in the middle of the road waving her hands. I'm going to release that video footage here just after this live broadcast. Lori's on here. How's the quality? Am I pixelated or can you see me okay? Because sometimes these things just come through so pixelated that they're just useless. So there we were, bombing down the freeway, and a lady is standing out in the middle on the side of the freeway waving her hands. On the other side of the road is a black truck parked a little bit into the road, emergency lights on. I started braking hard, slowing down, feathering the brakes. And the problem is that this Jeep, it doesn't have ABS. So when you want to stop hard, you kind of have to push the brakes and push the brakes and push the brakes and push the brakes. And just, it's big tires, it's little brakes, it's what happens with big vehicles. Well, Jessica saw my brakes go on, and then she saw them go off, and she stopped watching my Jeep and she started watching the lady on the side of the road. Happens. We get tunnel vision. It's the thing. It's just what happens. She hit me 40, probably 50 miles an hour as I was pulling off and smashed the entire back end of this Jeep. Here's hers. Caved in. Her entire front end, her bumper. You can probably see better from this angle how that is all smashed in, hood smashed in. My M8000 winch. This is the white paint witness mark and everything like that. So there we were, side of the freeway, 2 Jeeps smoking wrecks. We were so lucky nobody got hurt. Jessica had an abrasion on her leg. I had a big cut on my head. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we were okay. Dogs were okay. Jessica's airbags deployed, both of them. Everything blew up, popped. Lady took an airbag right to the face, and she was a champ. Folks came out in the farm who were flagging us down. They were trying to, they thought they had some horses out. Turned out they weren't out. It is what it is, what it is. And so at that point, we called our insurance company, and we basically sat there for about 4 hours waiting for them to tell us. I spent an hour on the phone with them. They wanted to open up a complete claim, asked me all sorts of questions, and I'm just like, look, we're tired. We just got in a car accident. Send me a tow truck, and we're out of here. And that didn't happen. So what I did with Jessica's Jeep is when that front end bent in, her track bar right here was pushed into the springs underneath her Jeep, making contact with these springs right here. So what I did is unbolted the track bar so it would stop making contact. It had been leaking some fluid, but what that ended up being was, it ended up being her wipe washer container shattered and broke open. I thought it was a radiator. So suddenly it's like, if I take off the track bar, will this thing run? And so that's basically what we did. Took the track bar off, lit up her Jeep, and drove 5.5 hours home. Straight home. It blew one code. Well, it has a couple codes, like, airbags deployed. That sort of shows up in the system. The only code that it's got right now is one of the oxygen sensors is out. So throughout all of that, the only thing that was wrong with this, other than the whole front end getting caved in, and the fact that the store doesn't quite close anymore. It's a little wonky. It's close enough. I think we can bend it back into shape. So, got in her Jeep, drove home. I got up the next morning. This is where some of the frame folded. And you can see all throughout here, it's all wrinkled, smashed in. Got up the next morning, jumped in my truck, took my trailer, drove to Eastern Oregon. Got back at 5 a.m. this morning with this Jeep. I had been on the phone with B&R, and B&R has a tub and a frame. Yep, a tub and a frame. So B&R called me this morning and wanted me to come check it out. I went and did it, and I talked to the guys a little bit and convinced them to give me that tub and frame. And here is Operation Phoenix. Let me get in a spot that's not directly in the sun. We have here a red 1999 Jeep TJ 4-cylinder chassis. In July 10th, which is a little bit more than 10 days from now, we're scheduled to go to Vancouver Island and return down the BDR. I am going to take everything out of my Jeep and put it in this TJ sometime in the next 10 days. It will run again. It will rise again. I will not be stopped. We are going on this adventure. I'm going to have a good time with my dad. It is going to be a great time. And that is the plan. This is Operation Phoenix. So, what have I been doing? I've been taking everything out of this Jeep. It came with a carpet. It came with a whole ton of parts. This was sort of the negotiation that I made with B&R. Is B&R was originally going to have one of their staff guys strip all of this stuff out of the Jeep and throw it away because they don't need it. And I'm like, why did you just give it all to me? I gave them a little bit more cash, just a little bit. And now I've got all these great spare parts where I can sell them and defray some of my costs. I've got a complete dash. Don't need it. All the wiring is going to have to come out because this has to be a 97. So this is for a 99 4-cylinder. All the wires have to come out. Everything has to be basically taken out of the white Jeep and put into Phoenix. That's including fenders and a whole bunch of other stuff. The nice thing about Phoenix is Phoenix comes with roll bar padding. Because guess what you should never do? Drive a Jeep without padding. Because when you hit that padding at a really high rate of speed, you bleed or you crush in your skull and you die. So, in NASCAR, they've named every one of the bars in a roll cage after a racer who died. That padding is now going to be SMAC. S-M-A-C-K. Because I smacked my head on that so hard it made me bleed. So, beautiful thing about Phoenix, it already came with head protection for me. And you all know I need lots of head protection. This Jeep is in great shape. Clean frame, beautiful inside, no rust. It's dirty. It's a mess. It came with seat belts. We can do this. And so that's what the plan is. We need to build this Jeep. We've got just about 10 days to do it. We've got started on my Jeep here. And one of the first things that we had to do was pull the fuel tank. The back end of the fuel tank right here got completely crushed in. Let's see if I can find my hand. There's my hand. There's my hand. So, back of this got completely crushed in. And what happened is that the impact hit so hard that it broke the fuel pump. Smashed up everything on the inside. So one of the first things that we did was pull this fuel tank out and mix and match parts because Phoenix luckily came with a fuel tank or with a fuel pump, the whole assembly. So I was able to mix and match parts from both Jeeps, put this fuel assembly back together again. And me and my friend Bob were able to get the Jeep started. So that's step one, is we wanted to make sure that the white Jeep still ran, because I don't want to pull everything out of this and put it in the red Jeep and have it not start, and us think, okay, is that damage from the accident? Or is it something stupid that we did, like forget to plug in a connector, right? So now we know this fully runs, has no issues, no problems, nothing. We should be able to pull everything out of this and drop it in the red Jeep. So we've got some fenders off already. We're starting the process. What's going to happen is we're going to pull the body off. We're going to pull the body off of Phoenix. We'll get the tractor in here. We'll unbolt the engine, the transmission, the transfer case. We'll lift those up. I'll drop them onto Phoenix. Phoenix's motor mounts, which are these guys right here, are in the wrong spot. So these have to be cut and then welded in back onto Phoenix, because Phoenix's motor mounts are back here for a 4-liter. It had a smaller engine in it, so we have to modify this. We have to modify engine mounts. A lot of work to do. Grill has to come off. Headlights have to come out. Fenders have to come off. Wiring, battery, seats, interior, dash. Every bit of wiring has to go over to that other Jeep, because that other Jeep has a harness for a 99, and all the plugs and everything are in different locations. The axles have to come off. This one is going to have to get fixed. There are rips and tears in some of the parts and pieces back there. So I'm going to have to cut off all these brackets, because they're all sideways. Let's see here. You can kind of see with that one. They're all bent sideways, and they all have to have fresh new brackets welded on. We got a lot of work to do. A whole lot of work. So, welcome to Operation Phoenix. I'm planning on doing live broadcasts every day at 7 o'clock to give everybody an update. And I've got to figure out how to get my phone to not go backwards, but we will do it. So, that's the update, everybody. Thank you for joining. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you a little bit of the work that we're working on, and we can definitely answer some questions and see what's going to happen. So, thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great night. See you guys on the trail, and Phoenix will rise again. This Jeep will run. Have a great night, everybody.